Hi friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In the last video, I have discussed what is a form, what are the advantages of creating the forms, how to create the form, and what is the use of the input tag and various elements in the form tag such as text area, text, email, date, check boxes, radio buttons, all these things. How can we create? We have discussed. I have written one program also related to this one. So I have taken the title as forms example and I have opened the form tag and I have closed the form tag here. So whatever you want to provide, you can provide within the open tag of the form and close tag of the form, and this form tag should be enclosed within the body tag. The use of the body tag is whatever you want to display in the web page that should be provided in the body tag. So the form also I want to display inside a web page, right? So that's why I have provided the form tag within the body tag. In this form tag is about the registration. So this registration will ask the username. So I have created one text box. So how I have provided? I have used the input tag and one of the attribute is type. In that attribute, the value I have provided as text. Whatever you are entering will be visible for the user. But however, once the user is entering the password, it should not be displayed, right? So that's why I have provided the type as password. Then I have given the radio button. So 3 radio buttons I have created. The gender I have asked. The user can select male or female or other. The beauty of the radio button is among all these radio buttons, user can select any one of them. As I have provided the checked is equal to checked, then by default it will consider as a female. And then I have created the checkbox for the hobbies. The beauty of the checkbox is user can select more than one checkbox. If let's take that user is interested in swimming, watching movies, browsing, he can select all these checkboxes. Similarly, if user want to enter his date of birth, then we have a type where the value is equal to date. Then whatever the date, month and year you can select. And similarly, sometimes in the form we need to enter our email address, right? That email address we can collect from the user in the input tag by providing the attribute as type and value is equal to email. The difference between the text and email is every email should have some text at the rate, some domain name, this one, right? At the rate should be required. That is the difference between a text and a email. Similarly, in some forms we need to upload our images or I need to upload some document. So you need to access some file, right? So that's why we have used the input tag and type attribute value I have provided as file. So you can browse any image or a PDF or doc file from your system, and whatever you are uploading it will send to the server. And similarly, I have considered the text area. If you want to enter a large amount of text, that is not possible using the text box, because the text box or text will allow you to enter a single line text. But if you want to enter multiple lines, then you can go for the text area. It will have the two attributes, one is the row and columns. So rows, if I provide the 10, then 10 rows user can enter. Columns, as I have provided 100, so 100 columns he can enter. If he is entering more number of rows and columns, then scrolling option will come. Now what I will do, I will show you the output of this form. So this is the registration form I have created. If you observe, the gender is the radio, 3 radio buttons are there, right? Male, female and other. The female option is the default value, okay? And hobbies I can select multiple, and date of birth I can select the date, month and then year. And the email address I can write it as jagadish123@gmail.com. okay, this is not my email address. Don't send any email to this one, just I'm writing as an example. If I want to browse some file, I can do that one. Suppose let's say that I want to write bst deletion. So look at here, the file name also given, okay? And similarly, if I want to write something, okay, Parnika tutorials YouTube channel, is a best YouTube channel for all the CSC courses. Like that, if I want to write something, then I can use the text area. Now, in this video, I want to discuss remaining elements in the form so that you will understand this concept in a better way. So, in this video, I will discuss about the button and the drop down box, and also I will discuss about the form tag. We have several attributes, right, like action, method and target. The action takes the what is the server URL you want to provide, that one you need to provide in the action attribute. Once you click on the submit button, whatever the user has entered the data will go to this URL. Okay, and similarly the method attribute can have either the get or post. If you write the get, then whatever the data you are sending will be sent in the same URL. Now the drawback of that one is, if your friend is observing that URL, he can know the secret information of you. But if you want to hide the data, then you can use the method as post. Similarly, for the target attribute, we have two values: underscore self or underscore blank. Underscore self means whenever you are submitting the submit button or whenever you are clicking the submit button, the next page should open, right? That page will open in the same tab. If you want to open in another tab, then you need to provide the target attribute value as underscore blank. All these concepts I will discuss in detail for you. So first we will create a drop down box. Okay, so what I will do here is that I will write country and then I will write select and then I will write option open tag and option close tag I need to provide. Whatever the option you want to write, that option you need to provide within this open tag and close tag. Similarly, I want to give another option. So I will write open option tag and I will write USA closed option tag. Similarly, I will write option open tag and then I want to write England. And let me close the option tag. Okay, then I need to close the select tag. Now let me save this one and go to the browser and let me refresh this one. Now you can see country came, but if you observe, after about yourself country came, right? You want to commit into the next line. To do that one, you need to provide the break tag. So I will write BR and then again I will write BR and now let me save this one, go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now you can see the country. Now it is a drop down. So once I'm clicking, you can see the India, USA, England. Anything you can select. Let's say that I'm selecting the country as USA. Then it will be visible. If I want to select it as India, I can select it. If I want to select it as England, I can select it. Okay. But let's take that you want to give more than one option. Okay. That also you can do by providing the option here as multiple. Okay, then let me save it and you can observe what will be the difference. Let me refresh this one. Now you can see the country, all the options are visible. If you want to select more than one, then you need to press the control and then you can press the submit button. Suppose if I want to select India also, again press the control button and select it. So more than one option you can select by providing the here as multiple in the select open tag. If you want to select only one option, then you can remove this one. So now let me discuss about another element in the form, which is a button. The use of the button is, suppose let's take that in any form, after you enter the data, there will be one button. If you click that button, some operation will happen. Meaning is that if I say submit, then whatever the data you have entered in this form, that data will be submitted to the server. Suppose if I say username and password and login. Once if I click on the login button, if your username and password is correct, then you can successfully log in into the web application. If the username and password any one is wrong, then it will give an error message for you. So like that you can use the button. So it defines a clickable button to control other elements or execute a functionality. So the button is useful for you to execute a functionality. Okay, so now we will discuss how can we create one button in the form. So to do that one, I need to use a tag called button, and the type I need to provide it as submit. And then let me close this one and let me close the button tag. Let me save this one and let me go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now you can see the button, but there is no content in this button. It is not visible, right? We will give the name for it. So within the open tag and close tag, I will give the name as submit. Okay, let me save it and let me go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now you can see submit button came, but below the country, if you want it, then you can give here as a br close tag, again br close tag, so it will give the break. And now let me go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now you can see submit is there. But if you want to add some style, okay, then you can use the CSS. But anyway, don't worry, CSS cascading style sheets I will discuss in the next videos. But here I will simply add one style to the submit button so that you will understand the advantage of CSS also. So I will write style is equal to, I will give background hyphen color, and then I can give the color as red, give the semicolon, and color I can give it as white. Okay, then let me give semicolon here. Now look at here what will happen. Let me go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now you can see submit button is coming. If you want to change the color, you can do it. I want to enter some data here, and whatever the data user is entering, it should go to the Parnika tutorials.in. Okay, it will not go, don't worry. So let me save this one. Let me refresh it. Now it is asking me to enter the username. Let me enter the username as Ravi. Okay, password something 1 2 3 I'm entering. Gender I'm entering as a male. Hobbies swimming and playing cricket. Date of birth I'm entering some date. Okay, email address I'm entering as jagadish123@gmail.com. And it is asking me to upload a picture, right? Let me select a Parnika picture. Okay, and let me click on the option, and hi friends, how are you, something I'm writing, and country I have selected as India, and I'm clicking the submit button. Now you can see the data is going. Okay, now whatever the data we have entered, you can observe, right? Parnika tutorials. Let me copy this one so that you can understand clearly. Let me paste it here so that you will understand about this get. Okay, now you can see whatever the data we have entered. Text box, it has entered as Ravi, and then and symbol came. Password I have entered as 123. Gender it is giving as on. Hobbies it is selecting as on. Okay, and then two hobbies I have selected, right? So hobbies is equal to on came. Date of birth whatever I have entered it came, and then email address whatever I have entered it came. Okay, so like that whatever you are entering in the form, all the data is going to the server, but the data is going in the URL. If anyone is observes this URL, he will come to know your secret information. So that you should not do. So if you does not want to allow that one, in place of this method as get, you can use the post. Let me save this one. Go to the HTML programs, forms, open with Firefox. Now again it is asking me to enter the username, all these things. Let me enter the name as Ravi. Okay, password I'm entering as 123, mail, let's take that, watching movies, some date of birth I'm entering, email address I'm entering as Ravi @ gmail.com. I'm selecting a picture, Parnika.jpg. Hi friends, something I'm writing, country. Now if I click the submit button, now you can observe earlier when we used the method as get, whatever the data you are sending, the entire data was sent in the URL. Now once I give the post method, then the data whatever you have submitted, it did not went using the URL, so it has hidden the data whatever you are sending, so it provides the security. So that is the difference of the get method and the post method. Now let me provide the target as underscore blank, then what will happen we will observe. Okay, let me go to the browser and let me refresh it. Let me enter the username JAD, let's take that, password 123, mail, okay, swimming, and then some date of birth, email address something ra@gmail.com, and picture let me upload something. I will enter hi, and then if I click the submit button, it will open in the new tab. See what the form is there in the previous tab, whatever it is done, it done in the next tab. So that is the difference between underscore self and underscore blank. When you have used the underscore self, when you have clicked on the submit, the action has been performed in the same tab. Once you have provided the underscore blank, the action has been performed in the next tab. So that is the difference between underscore self and underscore blank. Similarly, if you observe, whenever we have used the method as get, then what happened is that whatever the data you are entering for the hobbies, it is giving as on only. Let me show it again for you. Let me refresh this one. Let me enter the username as JAGA, password as 123, mail, swimming, okay, and then date of birth, let me enter some date of birth, and email address, let me enter ravi@gmail.com. Hi friends, let me enter, country as India, let me submit it. Okay, now let me copy this entire information which is there in the URL and paste it again here. Now you can see text box, it is giving as JAGA, that is the data I have entered. Password I have entered as 123. Gender, you can see I have selected as male, but the data is going as on. And hobbies, I have selected a particular hobby, but it is going as on. Date of birth, whatever I have entered it and selected. And then email address, whatever I have written, ravi@gmail.com. In place of that one, some data has came. Okay, but in place of gender is equal to on, hobbies is equal to on, whatever I have selected the gender, that value should come. Then you need to change the code little bit. So here you need to provide the value as male, then you can see what will happen. And similarly here value as female, and similarly value here as other. Similarly hobbies, let me give the value as some swimming or something, anything you can write, swimming, and let me copy and paste it, cricket, and then value here as movies, here value as browsing. Let me save this one and let me go to the browser and let me refresh it. Now let me enter the username as JAGA, password as 123, gender as male, and let me select the hobbies as swimming. Date of birth I will enter 3rd January 2023. Email address let me enter as ravi@gmail.com. Let me upload a picture. For this file tag, you should not use the value attribute. Okay, remember that point. And let me enter the hi friends and country India. Let me submit it. Let me copy the content which is there in the URL. Now look at here, text box JAGA, password 123, and gender I have selected male, right? So now the value also went as male, and similarly hobbies as swimming, and date of birth whatever. So in place of gender is equal to on and hobbies is equal to on, now whatever the button you have selected, that value came into the picture. The value attribute specifies the value of an input element. The value attribute is used differently for different input types, because we have various input types, right? Like text box is there, a password is there, radio is there, checkbox is there, date of birth is there, like date. So we have various types, right? This value attribute works differently for different input type. Suppose let's take that for this type is equal to text, if I enter the value as something, then this value will be considered as a default value. If you want to observe, you can see as I have provided the value as enter username, this value is coming as a default value. Similarly, if you consider for the gender, value means gender means nothing but the type as radio. So for the radio type, if you provide the value as something, whenever the user is clicking on what one and submitting, the value will go whatever the value you have provided. Okay, similarly for the buttons, it defines the text on the button. For checkbox and radio buttons, it defines the value associated with the input. So that is the advantage of the value attribute. So I hope you have understood about the forms in detail. If you still have any doubts related to the forms, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.